Thank you, Mrs. Intveld. Jetzt Herr Albrecht für die Grünen. Sie haben das Wort.
Thank you very much, Chair. First of all, let me say that I'm very happy that we now, at least short before voting on our final report, we have the opportunity to look into the answers by Edward Snowden and discuss them. And secondly, I think it's very important to say with regard to his answers that it's proving once more that Edward Snowden is a whistleblower. Edward Snowden is a whistleblower, and that's a very important message which we have to also send as European Parliament, because he is not a criminal. As Sophie in 't Veld just pointed out, he has reported wrongdoing of intelligence services, not only the NSA but also European intelligence services, to the public, which would have been never reported if he would have not done this. And I think that we have to acknowledge that. As European Parliament, it's our duty to acknowledge that and to stand in favour of giving him the protection he needs as a whistleblower and as the central witness in this scandal, which we all have talked about and which we all have acknowledged the value in it for drawing consequences. And there have to be consequences. If you look into the answers, again, of course we all know he was not able to say more than he already reported, or at least what is out there reported by journalists, but now we have it also written down by the primary source of who has brought up these documents, once again, that obviously intelligence services have stepped across borders. And we're talking not only about a political debate here, it's about a legal assessment. Intelligence services crossing the borders of what is proportionate, of what is actually legally in their consequences, and I think that we have to get into the details of it, and that we have to look also into the possibilities of getting Edward Snowden also as a witness to a European investigation in front of a court, or a parliamentary investigation which is also able to be called a real investigation and not only a talk, which is great that we had it, but I think there's something more in here which needs to be scrutinized also in a real investigation. And then we have to talk about how to better control intelligence services and their work. Obviously, intelligence services on both sides of the Atlantic, and I mean we are on the forefront of what rule of law based democracies are out of control. And that's again written down by Edward Snowden directly, who has an insight into what the intelligence services are doing together. He lines out different examples of intelligence services of the European Union member states and the NSA working together on programs which are not appropriate with regard to the legality of these measures. They are disproportionate, and this is even acknowledged already by the US government. I mean, we should not be behind the US government in acknowledging that something was going wrong. We should be at the forefront naming it. And that is something which I think is very important also with regard to our Wednesday's vote on the final report of this inquiry. So I think that these questions, again, with regard to his status as a whistleblower, but also with regard to the facts on the ground, was very important. These answers were very important, and I think that we need to do our best as European Parliaments to bring these facts to the awareness of the national parliaments and the national governments in the European Union. Because, let me close with that, only showing with the finger to the NSA and to the USA is really wrong in this case. It's not appropriate. When we talk about drawing consequences out of this scandal, we have to look into our own intelligence services and their activity. And obviously, and that's also what I really was hearing from the member states parliamentarians we had in our hearings, I don't feel that our own intelligence services are under control at the moment. If you look into the notion of national security, by the way, that's also mentioned by Edward Snowden again, it's broadened again and again by our own national intelligence services for years now. By the way, since the Echelon inquiry here in the Parliament already brought that on the table in 2001 in its report, 160 pages, that's on the table. National security has been broadened massively. I mean, we should debate about the fact or the question if spying on other EU member states, their institutions, their people and their companies is in the notion of national security of an EU member state. Shouldn't we debate that? Shouldn't we put that into our report and bring that to the awareness of national parliaments, which are obviously not looking at this at the moment? I think yes, and therefore I really recommend to strengthen our language in our final report with regard to these questions. But at the end, also if we just go voting it in the way we have voted in our committee, please reconsider our amendment with regard to the status of Edward Snowden as a whistleblower and as a witness, and just stating that he's not a criminal but somebody who brought this all to public awareness. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That'll be